kid. This is the way.
We're going to go ahead and move on to the next part of my stream, and that is my review for The Mandalorian, Season 3, Episode 5, Chapter 21.2, The Pirate Chat. Now, listen, I've been reviewing a lot of these episodes for the last couple of weeks, chat. And, like I said, I really enjoyed Mandalorian Season 1. I thought Season 2 was even better. If I have any, criticisms, of those first two seasons, more so in the Season 1, it's like, okay, the budget's not always there. Some of the special effects didn't look very good. On a green screen, it didn't work for me. The volume, I'm not a big believer in the volume, honestly, chat. But hey, it delivered some really solid, entertaining Star Wars, chat. I liked the world in which they were playing. I liked feeling, Jon Favreau's influence in the series, and obviously Dave Filoni. It's been fun. It's had its weak episodes. It's had its fantastic episodes, chat. But, I was curious about Season 3 going forward, especially with them surprisingly bringing back Grogu, the Baby Yoda, after seemingly wrapping up that entire storyline. And sadly, I feel like that's been one of the show's biggest issues, is just that character of Baby Yoda, Grogu, and also Din Djarin. They don't really seem to know what to do with them anymore. So much so that they're starting to feel like supporting characters in their own show, which is really, really weird. And that even holds true in this episode. However, I have to say, this is probably the best episode of this season so far. I think it has a nice balance of characters, story, world building, and action. And I feel like in terms of that thorough line, which I've been that's been one of my biggest complaints outside of what they've been doing with Din Djarin and Grogu. It's like, what are we building towards? Because it doesn't feel like we're building towards anything. I feel like finally, with Episode 5, halfway through the season, all right, we seem to have some sense of structure, and we have that thorough line, and now all these stories are starting to come together. I think it took way too long to do that, personally, but I was like, it was nice to finally see that. We see the return of a number of characters and people finally interacting with each other. We have, I think, Paul Seon-Hyun Lee, who plays the supporting character of Captain Teva. He comes back here, chat. He was that X-Wing pilot that was interacting with Din Djarin in Season 2. He's a member of the New Republic, X-Wing Corps, chat, and he takes a personal interest in the things that are happening on Nevarro. We actually see the return of Katie M. O'Brien as Kane, who was in that. It was in Episode 4, manipulated the Doctor. She's back. She got some stuff to do here. It's like finally they're crossing all these characters over, and there seems to be a sense of a structure. I was like, okay, I'm liking that. Now things seem to be making sense instead of all these kind of plot lines going nowhere in different directions. I feel like maybe you're setting up other spin-offs or other seasons of different shows. I like that this one finally gave me, all right, here you go. And I was like, that was cool. The one thing that actually really impressed me in this episode, and it was just kind of in terms of the lore and world building, this episode truly showcases how weak, uncaring, and inept the New Republic is. It kind of puts things in perspective. It's like, yes, the rebellion, fought against the Empire, and they were doing it for a variety of good reason. But, listen, winning a war is different than ruling afterwards, chat. And I think this season, and I guess the films, more recent films have shown, the rebellion, they're pretty shitty administering rules and regulations and laws. They're barely able to control the galaxy at all. And I kind of like that we saw the bureaucracy and how fragile it completely is because the rebellion is so shitty as rulers here. And it's frustrating people within that organization and also frustrating people that are outside of it. Because the whole central plot to this is that we're back on Nevarro. We have Greef Karga, played by, of course, oh my God, I'm forgetting his name. Carl Weathers. I almost forgot his name, Chad. I gotta put respect on Carl Weathers' name. Of course, he returns, Chad, and his planet's being attacked by this pirate king. And he, requests aid from the Republic. The Republic's like, we don't give a shit about you. We can barely control the core worlds, can barely control the mid-rim, outer rim. Forget it. Not so much different than the Empire, in my opinion, chat. And so that was really cool to see. And of course, that sets up then, the Mandalorians coming in there and battling at the behest, at the request of Greef Karga. And that's the thing, chat. Like, this episode gives us some of the absolute best action sequences and choreography, not only this particular season, but I think of the series itself. This gives you the space battles, this gives you the ship battles, this gives you the ground urban warfare, chat. Mandalorians fighting pirates. It's like all that, it's all done extraordinarily well. Different weapons, melee weapons, blasters, all that stuff. Cutting between the battles in the sky, cutting back to the battles on the ground. It kind of it reminded me of like Return of the Jedi in a way, where we're cutting back and forth. Like, it featured some great editing. On a technical level, this episode's really, really well put together. Another thing is, I don't know if you guys noticed this, but this episode pays homage to Peter Pan. I don't know if you guys caught this, but like the pirate captain and his first in command, they're totally Captain Hook and Smee from the Peter Pan movie, chat. It's like the design, he's the plant guy, he's the Swamp Thing looking guy. He's wearing Captain Hook's cloak, and his first mate is wearing the red bandana or the hat, and also he has the blue and white striped shirt that Smee has. I'm like, all right, so there you go, Disney referencing Disney. But I didn't mind that. I think that was fun. I liked that the ship kind of had almost like a pirate ship vibe, like in the command room, the command center. I thought that was kind of cool. That was neat for me. Nice little homage to Peter Pan, and also less racism, champ. Thank God. And you have another big guest star here. Tim Meadows is in this episode, and his character just represents the failure of the New Republic. He's a bureaucrat who could care less about, other people, and just shows the overall weakness of the New Republic as well. He's good here. He's easy manipulated as well by other characters. So it just puts things in perspective, and why the New Republic obviously fell to the First Order in the new trilogy. It's like, it kind of makes sense in a way. But again, like my big complaints for this entire season so far is the Mandalorian, Din Djarin, and Grogu. They continue to be relegated to supporting characters in their own show. Because this episode is pretty much focused on Bo-Katan. Like, Bo-Katan, Katie Sackhoff is absolutely fantastic. She's great. I'm a huge Katie Sackhoff fan. She's voiced this character, Bo-Katan, in the animation. It was great to see her cross over into live action and, Mandalorian Season 2 and now here. But she is the main character, technically. She is the most initiative going forward. She's been propped up as the most important guy. And I don't mind that, believe me. But at this point, I'm just like, what's the point of keeping Din Djarin and Baby Yoda around other than you want to sell toys? Because that's what Baby Yoda is at this point. Grogu, it's like, okay, yeah, you did a flashback last episode. I'm like, you didn't tell us anything new with that. I mean, you expanded on it a little bit. It's like, that that Star Wars actor came back to play a new character, and he took care of Baby Yoda. I was like, all right, that's fine. But Baby Yoda's you know what Baby Yoda does? He sits in a lap. Baby Yoda sits and looks cute and sits in a lap and goes, yay. That's all he does in this episode. I'm like, why is this character here? And the reason why is because they want to sell Baby Yoda toys. They want to sell Grogu, shirts and stuff. And I'm like, I get it. Baby Yoda's cute. Grogu's adorable. There's no doubt about it. But if there's no narrative purpose, then why is this character here other than, for a manufactured reason? But even Din Djarin, it's like, I don't really know why you're here at this point. Other than he just kind of serves as a connective tissue between other characters, like between Captain Teva and Greef Karga. Like, that's what he serves as in this episode. It's like, well, I know this guy and you know him, so come back and help him, right? But then the real important character, the one who's like leading the assault, is not Din Djarin, it's Bo-Katan. And I like Bo-Katan, but she's the Mandalorian now at this point. And at that point, just like, well, get rid of Din Djarin. It's like he's not really necessary anymore. I'm not. It's annoying me. But despite that, this is, I think, the most well put together episode. It's the most exciting. It's the most thrilling. I like all the connections. Now we finally seem to have a thorough line going for it with the main plot, setting up, I'm guessing, the return of Moff Gideon, maybe the entrance of Grand Admiral Thrawn. I mean, there's not. I'm just assuming now, since he's going to be the big bad in Ahsoka, chat, right, as one of the big Imperial warlords. And again, continuing to showcase the incompetence of the New Republic. They set something up in this episode, and that's my other big problem, is like they set up a really tired plot cliche. I'm like, oh, okay, here's what's going to happen, and this is how the New Republic's going to get involved, and they're going to fuck everything up. And so that's just a little frustrating. I was like, okay, here we go. So you already, they do it's the last minute. It's the very last minute of this episode, and as soon as you see it, and you see someone's reaction, it's like, this is what's going to happen now. This is what's going to lead. It's going to lead to a big battle. And I'm like, okay. And I don't know. It just feels so cliche and tired. I'm like, all right. It's all going to be because of a big misunderstanding, because the New Republic, who are very dumb at this point, they're not going to do their due diligence and research what's actually going on, and a lot of people are probably going to die. That's what's going to happen, chat. And that's just, I don't know, that's just kind of frustrating for me. But Isolate itself, it's a very entertaining episode. It's paced extraordinarily well. There's nice little surprises, nice little Easter eggs for Star Wars fans, especially if you like the animated shows. There's a lot there. But yeah, and it's just fantastic action, chat. Very, very well choreographed, very well edited. But, again, I'm still, as much as I like this episode, I'm still frustrated by this season. I mean, going forward, we do season 4. It's like, can we just move away from Din Djarin, Baby Yoda, and just focus on a new Mandalorian or just Bo-Katan? Because she is by far the most interesting character in this series right now. At least of the Mandalorian, she's the most interesting character. But that's just my overall opinions on this episode. What about you guys? How do you feel about The Mandalorian, season 3, episode 5, chapter 21.17? The Pirate King, chap. Let me know. I hope everyone enjoyed the film review, and I want to take the time to tell you about the movie of the week, a film that I really enjoy and one that I think you will too. This week's movie is Scream, just in time for the release of Scream 6. Scream is directed by Wes Craven and written by Kevin Williamson. A year after the murder of her mother, a teenage girl is terrorized by a killer who targets the girl and her friends by using horror films as part of a deadly game. If anyone is interested in purchasing this fantastic film, please make use of the Amazon affiliate link below in the video description. Your subsequent purchase of the film not only earns me a helpful commission, but any purchase you may make after clicking on the link itself for 24 hours would help earn me additional commissions as well. Doesn't matter if it's a Blu-ray, a video game, a pair of socks, or a washing machine, everything within 24 hours of that click can really help the channel. So go ahead and check out the film, enjoy browsing and shopping.